Hello, Gunmads. I think you're the first one. Evening, Viking. Right, evening, everyone. We are in the semi-finals of the Champions Cup now. So there's actually two lobbies in the semi-finals, but we're going to be focusing on Lobby A, which is packed with Tier 1 drivers, to be honest with you. So yeah, this seems to be the most stacked lobby in terms of who is decent, and potentially the winner of the whole thing is in this lobby as well. So I'm going to go through quickly the lineups that we've got tonight, if I can find where I took the screenshot anyway. Here we go. So on your screen you can see Arex Habby. He is on Team Pennzoil, and he's currently got the fastest lap by 0.3 in practice. He's joined with Peachy and Capale, so a very strong lineup for them. We've got Alpine Stars, that is CMP, BX Royal, and we've got Spin and Monty. So there we've got two Tier 1 drivers. Spin is doing this first race in the Bugattis, and Monty is taking over, who's just been revealed as a Tier 5 driver. So slowest driver in the lobby, but he's had time to just practice one track, so that should give him a little advantage on the others. Then we got the Gulf team, who's Perry, Eroticos and Astro. Astro up in second at the moment, so doing pretty well in this practice session. Another strong team, so Perry's in Tier 1 now, Astro's in Tier 2 and Eroticos is in Tier 3. And then our final team, who we actually saw last night, let's see if any of them are out on track. We've got Pyro and Owen again for Team Yokohama, and they're joined tonight by Woozy. So Woozy was in Tier 2 last season, Pyro is in Tier 3 now, and Owen is a seeded driver in Tier 1. So all of the teams have drivers who can basically win these races. I think it's got to be said that Pennzoil and Alpine Stars, I'd imagine, would be the two favourites, since they got Javi and BX on their teams respectively. And then Gulf and Yokohama will be hoping for a little surprise result, but yeah, it's looking good for Gulf at the moment with Astro in second in practice. So let's just exit, because I want to say, it's right, we got a 5-minute qualifying session. As you can see, the lap times were in like the 1-minute 5s and higher. So they'll be able to get maybe 3 hot laps in, maybe 4, if they're lucky. And then we got a 36 lap race, so this is going to be around about maybe 45 minutes in length, and this is just the first part of the semi-finals. Racing in the RGT 4.2s tonight, every single driver, and they've all got the liveries booted up as well. 4 different teams in this semi-final and 4 in the other one. So I'll try and get some updates from the other teams as well, but I'm not sure if they'll come through, to be honest. Right, let's do a little tier recap then of the drivers that we've got in the lobby currently. So Javi, obviously Tier 1, Owen and CMP, BX and Capale all in Tier 1. Eroticos is in Tier 3. Perry's up in Tier 1 now. Astro's in Tier 2. Woozy was in Tier 2 but didn't sign up for the next season. Pyro, Monty, who's just entered, is in Tier 5. Pyro and Peachy are both in Tier 3. So yeah, lots of Tier 1 drivers. The odd Tier 2, a few Tier 3s, no Tier 4s, and 1 Tier 5 for this first race. And then Monty's going to be replaced by a Tier 3 driver himself for the next one. Right, looks like we're going to be starting soon. Pyro's lobby host, so he will probably be the first person out on track. And if any Tier 1 guys come out behind him, they'll probably be trying to overtake him on the outlap. Plenty of Tier 1, Tier 1.5, Tier 2.5 drivers. Yeah, the whole grid is in that category. apart from one. So we just had our calendar and tier reveal today for the Monday Leagues, which went down pretty well, I think. Calendar seems to be popular. And then, yeah, we've got 6 tiers now moving forward. Hopefully we'll be able to keep the 6 tiers, because every time we try to expand, a number of drivers decide not to come back for various reasons, and we would go back down to 5. Right, this is a long starting soon. I don't know what Pyro's doing. He's not said anything in the chat either. So let's see, who's my favourite for pole? Javi set the fastest time in that qualifying session. Astro was pretty close to him as well. CMP's always good in cars that aren't Group 3, especially in GT. He's won a lot of different types of spec series in many different types of cars. BX is always his closest rival in that as well. Looks like we're about to start. So I think, yeah, those 4, Javi, CMP, BX, and Astro would be my pick for the top, to lock out the top 2 rows in qualifying. We'll have to wait and see. We might have a little bit of a surprise. Let's get everything set up nice. Driver names. Yeah, Pyro was the first out on track. A little bit of host privilege there for him. Right, so this is what I said was about to happen. A tier, well, Astro's a tier 2 now, but clearly a lot quicker than Pyro. He goes wide on the outlap. And yeah, Astro was in a rush to get to the front of the field here. It looks quite a congested field. I guess people don't want to be slowing down too much because they will risk not getting that final lap in potentially. As we go across the bridge with the beautiful Alps in the background there. Pyro's actually coming under a little bit of pressure. Actually, Javi's got past Pyro now as well. So this is good from Pyro, as long as he gets a decent exit. Well, let's join Astro because he's the first guy going out on track. So in practice we saw 1 minute 5s as the fastest time, so I'm expecting that from Astro and Javi. Potentially 6s for some of the others like Pyro, who'll be one of the first across the line as well. Okay, Astro has actually finished his lap already. He's at 1 minute 6.4. Javi is second. Owen's actually on provisional pole at the moment. Pyro did a 1:11, so that was actually a hot lap we were watching. BX all over the back of Pyro now as well. This is going very badly for Pyro, who's actually having to defend rather than focus on setting a fast lap. BX is probably going to send it at some point because he's actually down on his previous lap. So Owen on provisional pole, Javi, BX, CMP and Astro, the 4 that I was talking about, lining up right behind him. And it looks like BX Royal has completely backed out of this. He's let other drivers go through. Let's join on board with Javi. Let's see, he's coming into the pits to change his tyres. Let's stay with BX. He's about to come round the final bend, I think, to start his fast lap now. And he just, yeah, he was 4 seconds down because he backed off there. Owen and Javi both in the pits. No one else from the top 8 are in the pits. Nice to see Peachy up in P8 there, and Woozy's up in P6. So the 2 lads there having a very good qualifying so far. Pyro just popping into the top 8 now with a 1 minute 7.1. Woozy improves, as does Peachy. Peachy actually displaces Pyro and retakes that P8. Woozy improves his time and jumps above Astro into 5th as well. As we can see a car in the wall behind BX Royal, but that's not who we're focusing on now. We've got a few more corners for BX to negotiate. He is purple by a 1/10 and a half at the moment, so he's got a bit of a gap as well to Woozy in front, who might just be giving him a little bit of slipstream at these final couple of corners. So BX on course. He's lost a bit of time, but he's still up on Owen's best time at the moment. This is probably his best chance to set a fast lap, and he hits the wall. That's going to penalise him so much. He see it still scraping it, and he decides to back out anyway and go for fresh tyres. His tyres aren't that worn, but yeah, they will not be optimal at the moment. What's CMP up to? So CMP is BX Royal's teammates. They're doing quite well in 3rd and 4th at the moment. He's about to come across the finish line. Currently just under 3/10 back. And yeah, that is a... It still says just under 3/10 despite him... Oh no, it said he went faster, but he's actually gone 3/10 slower on that lap, so he's not up to much. Astrov has just overtaken Woozy again to get into 5th place. A little bit further down, let's have a look. Pyro, Perry, Peachy, Eroticos down in 10th. So there's a big gap between Peachy and Eroticos. Capel really struggling in P11. He's in the pits again, so having problems on his laps and coming into the pits and not actually setting a proper time yet. Monty is all the way at the back, 3.1 seconds off of Owen's best time, going really wide into the entry of that corner, not really knowing what to do with these corners in qualifying. Just behind him, Arix Javi though is on a hot lap. And he's currently purple, so... And Owen's right behind him, so Owen's got a chance to respond straight away here. But Javi... he's had a really bad downhill section there. He's completely lost all of his time, and Owen might be about to improve on his. Never mind, he's in the wall. And that's going to ruin his last lap as well, because he's going to not be crossing the finish line here at a very quick pace at all. So no one's really managed to do much anyway here. BX Royal does improve, but he's still 2/10 down on Owen's best time. Monty's completely given up down in P12 there. CMP, let's see if anyone else is... It looks like Astro had just got through to start his final lap on time. Looks like Woozy might be the next person who's near the top to be crossing the finish line. He is up on his time. That would be enough to get him up into P5 ahead of Astro. He's got one last corner. He does hit the wall as well. Astro improves his time to a 6.1. BX Royal overtakes Owen as well. Now we've got Woozy approaching the final turn. Is there a point for pole in the semis? I'd imagine so, yeah. And here is the checkered flag for Woozy, and he's going to cross the line in P5, and I think he's the last one. Yeah, Perry's not going very quick. So that's it for your qualifying. I did figure out where the start line was eventually. So lining up near at the rear, so let's go reverse order. Monty down in P12, really far cut away from the rest of the field there. Then we got Eroticos, then we got two Pennzoil cars, Capel and Peachy. So Capel really disappointing in this first race for someone who's just beat it out as this tier 1 driver. Below, a lot of drivers in the lower tiers, including Pyro there in P8. Got Perry in P7, the tier 2 champion from last season. Astro in P6, Woozy very solid drive there, getting into 5th. CMP P4. Arix Javi only 3rd, couldn't get past Owen in the end, but he had the pace to do it. Owen in 2nd, and BX Royal getting pole position right at the end there. Oof, Capel indeed. Yeah, really bad. I was expecting Pennzoil to qualify, like I was saying at the start, with Alpine Stars, but Alpine Stars are 1st and 4th and 12th, and Pennzoil 3rd, 9th and 10th. So huge advantage to Alpine Stars. And also Yokohama in 2nd, 5th and 8th. All 3 cars in the top 8 is very good qualifying for them. Then we got Astro, Perry and Eroticos in the final Team Gulf, 6th, 7th and 11th. So yeah, a lot of work to do for them. One of those two needs to get up onto the podium in this race if they want to have a serious challenge in the next one, I would say. I don't know what the second race is. Oh, the next one's the Bugatti Group 1 at Spa, by the way. I've just been reliably told. So, Spa's always a good one. The complete opposite once again to this track. It could rain. Yeah, that's true. It could rain. That's a good car, that Bugatti. It's a shame there's no Group 3 Bugattis, because I think it would always be quite popular, actually. Right, here we go. We've got 36 laps ahead of us. So definite pit stop strategies are going to come into play here on this incredibly short lap. Let's hope it lets us spectate any second now. Here we go. Very strange starting grid, because half of the grid are starting quite far downhill and the other ones are starting flat and on a curve as well. So BX Royal on pole, Owen second, Javi third. 3 different teams in the top 3. Got 5 lights on. It's lights out, away we go. Looks like a really good start for BX. Not so good for Owen. Javi's managed to come up onto the back of him. Actually tucks in right behind him as all the cars go over. A big bump there as we head into this very twisty downhill section. Javi going very wide into the corner, but has the inside line for the following one. BX managing to get away. Everyone making little bits of bumps through these corners. And Javi has got past Owen, and he's already half a second down. Actually, Owen's come back at him. And this might be something we see going on this downhill section throughout the race. Drivers leaving the door open and absolutely going for it, but Javi looks like he's won for now. BX has a big lead already, 1.5 seconds. Javi going really wide into this final corner, Owen putting a lot of pressure on him, and CMP's there as well. Meanwhile, Astro and Woozy going side by side a little bit further down. Astro wins that battle, Woozy lost a bit of traction. A little bit further up, Javi still has a slender lead over Owen as we head around the next few turns here through the pit lane. And it's a bit of a shame that it's not letting you follow multiple cars easily in TV mode. Owen actually getting caught up a little bit by CMP, so let's ride on board with CMP. CMP needs to make a little bit of progress up, because they could pretty much guarantee the spot in the final in the semis if BX manages to win and CMP gets at least one of these spots on the podium, and he definitely looks like he's got the pace for it at the moment. Just behind him is Astro as well, who's trying to make some good progress. Oh, loses it a little bit, but CMP's actually got a run on Owen now as we head into this tight, long, well, this wide hairpin. Owen really all over the place here, trying to stay ahead of CMP. Looks like he's got the position for now, but CMP's going to have a slipstream on the run to the next corner here. A little sweeping right-hander, just a little bit of brake applied for that corner. You can hear the cars screeching massively. We're on sports mediums for CMP. So as we round this final corner, CMP's super close. Looks like everyone is on the mediums apart from BX, who's on the sports softs. That's why he is 5 seconds ahead in the lead. Let's see if anyone else is on the softs. Astro's on the softs, but he's stuck behind 3 drivers on the mediums, which is ruining his strategy. Hards for Woozy, so being in P6 on the hards is pretty impressive. Perry's catching up to him on the mediums, and Eroticods is right there on the mediums as well. Pyro's another one who started on the hards. He's dropped down to 9th, but still within touching distance of the cars in front. Monty up into 10th with a little bit of damage. Capel looks like he's already come into the pits and put mediums on, and the same for Peachy. So they're trying a completely different strategy and trying a huge undercut on some of these guys. Probably started on the hards and just got rid of them on lap 1, I'm assuming. A little bit further up, Owen's still only 3 tenths behind Alex Javi. CMP's lost a bit of ground, and Astro's putting a bit of pressure on him, and that's probably why he's having to go a bit more defensive, because Astro's getting a bit impatient. His tyres on the rears especially are starting to deteriorate now. Owen goes incredibly wide. This is going to open the door for CMP potentially. He manages to get back on track all right and doesn't have damage crucially, so he's going to be able to continue. Go over that bump. Looks like Javi goes wide into that first corner, opens the door for Owen, and everyone's going to start bunching up now. So let's ride on board with Astro and see if anyone can get a move done. Owen's going for it. Backs out of it in the middle of the corner. Javi had it covered, and Owen loses a bit of traction there, and doesn't actually lose as much time as he should have, considering his car was pretty much sideways there. CMP just hanging on to them at the moment. Oh, both Owen, all 3 of them in the wall there. I wonder if that's a little bit of lag going on. CMP's starting to lag anyway by the looks of things. you're having to brake before you go over that hill so that you actually can continue braking as soon as you land, essentially, without going flying. So CMP's past Owen and all that. Woozy is in the pit, so he's getting rid of his hards on lap 4, so he's going to be on probably mediums, I'd imagine. Mediums are still looking pretty good. Capel looks like he got an undercut done on Pyro. Pyro has come into the pits for those mediums, so he couldn't stay. He couldn't make these mediums, and if they have to pit again, I'm assuming the softs last a significant amount of time. Lapping in the 9s, Capel, so that is quite a way off what BX is doing. He's in the, well, he set a 6.1 on the previous lap, and he's got an 11-second lead on Javi now, but this is going to obviously come down later in the race. Oh, here we go. Mistake by CMP, and now both of his challengers have got past. This is really bad news there for the Alpine Stars team. He's just lost 2 places, and now we're in a 1 and a 5, so it's still looking pretty good, but a lot worse than it was just a few moments ago. CMP losing ground here, and he's got damage. Astro is fancying another position here. He's making a lot of contact with Owen. That's not what you want to see. Astro loses the position, CMP to CMP. CMP is going to start giving Owen a bit of hassle. He's going to have dirty tyres, Owen, but he didn't get any damage in that coming together with the Astro and then the wall. He's gone wide into that corner, probably because of the dirty tyres. CMP sticks his car in there, Owen leaves him just enough room and then closes the door in the next corner. Gets a little bump by Astro as well. So yeah, Astro's soft stint is not going well at all, it's got to be said. I think he's going to drop further back when other drivers go on better tyres later on in the race. And this is good for Javi as well. Javi is now 1.8 ahead of Owen. He's just all on his own at the moment, but he is the lead driver of the guys on the medium, so if BX ends up not having the best strategy here, because he's used the softs too early, this is going to allow Javi to really reel him in and overtake him on when it's his turn to go on the softs. Perry in the pits now, the first medium tired car to come in. Oh, Monty in the wall there. Still stays out though. Woozy did come into the pits and he is 4.5 seconds ahead of Capel, so he is the lead driver. Let's stick on with Woozy and see if he comes out ahead or behind of Perry. Perry coming out. Is he on mediums again? Looks like he is. Let's see. Actually, he came out on softs and crucially just ahead of Capel. Unfortunately for Perry, he's got a 3-second penalty, so he's going to lose a lot of the advantage that he was hoping to gain by going onto the soft tyres right now. So that is a huge miscalculation for Perry. He's also going to lose position to Pyro and potentially to Peachy. Peachy's not that far back, so let's see. Let's stick with this and see how much that penalises Perry. Pyro's thinking about having to go on Capel though, so this isn't necessarily over yet. If those two have a bit of a coming together, then Perry could get away with this a little bit, but we're approaching the penalty line now. There we go. There is Capel and there is Pyro. Little beep on his way past, but he does stay ahead of Peachy crucially. So that is, yeah, the Team Gulf not doing too well at the moment, it's got to be said. Yokohama trying to get past Pennzoil here. This is Pyro trying to distract Capel. We haven't heard any honking until just now, so I didn't even know that these cars had a horn on them. But yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how these guys use the horns as a tactic to try and distract. We've seen many drivers crash because they get fed up of other drivers honking their horns, and also drivers crashing because they are honking and not focusing. Perry now catching up to the back of Pyro here. Pyro going really wide. It's going to allow Perry to come through, and he makes a little bit of contact there with Pyro, and he's going to try and outmaneuver Pyro through these final corners and get alongside before Pyro costs him too much time. This is the prime time for Perry to be setting in really fast laps, and because he got that 3-second penalty, he's probably not going to be able to do it because he's going to have to get past Pyro, then he's going to catch Capel and be stuck behind him. Pyro goes wide into the corner, Perry just sticks it on the inside, and because he's on the softs, it's going to work. Perry back up into P10 at least. Still with his hard tyres to do though. And then further up, BX Royal finally coming into the pits. He's stretched his lead up to 17 seconds there on that opening soft stint, but now it's going to start getting difficult. Maybe not so difficult because Javi's all over the place as his tyres are now over 50% worn, which means the tyre drop-off in performance is starting to increase. Astro up into third, ahead of Owen and CMP at the moment, so he's managed to get past those two on his soft tyres, which he's getting rid of now. I think he clattered the wall on pit entry there because he's got a bit of damage, which isn't going to matter too much. That means that Javi and Owen and CMP are the top three. Javi is racing for Pennzoil, needs to get this win because his teammates aren't doing too good. Owen is racing for Yokohama. Again, his teammate, well, Woozy's doing pretty well, but Pyro's not doing so good, and CMP trying to disrupt them as much as possible because BX Royal is only 2 seconds behind him coming out of the pits. And Astro has a nice gap ahead of him as well. Monty still hasn't pit, he's up to 7th now, so that's pretty decent for Monty. Astro, meanwhile, has loads of clear air to try and get as much of an advantage as he can before the guys come in and probably put on soft tyres and start causing him a bit of grief. So yeah, Monty's staying out incredibly long on these softs. He's racing for Alpine Star, so that's the same as BX and as CMP. So doing a similar strategy to CMP by the looks of things. Struggling a little bit with the corners now. Full lock on as well. Ooh. Interesting. Woozy's catching up to him now. Woozy's been out on these mediums for a few laps. He was one of the first to come in the pits actually. And Monty's absolutely sliding through the final corner. Still decides not to come in. Neither does Javi CMP or Owen in the top three. I'll stick with Woozy for a little bit and Monty to see if anything happens here. Both of them on the softs, but Monty's are a lot more worn, and we've seen Woozy has a bit more pace than Monty at this track at the moment as well. The gap is down to half a second, but you wouldn't know because that TV view is horrendous. It doesn't show you anything. So Monty going really tight into the entry, which makes him go wide on the exit, but that does give him the inside line for the following corner. And again, he's trying to go wide, but Woozy's car's there. They kind of both lose a bit of traction. Now Monty's going to try and do the same again. He doesn't want to get dive bombed. This is a rival car, so if he could slow him down as much as possible, this is potentially helping his team's cause. And now Woozy's going to have a bit of a run on Monty. I think Monty's going to let him through because I have a feeling this is Monty's in lap, and he's going to want to make sure he doesn't get that 3-second penalty. He's not actually going into the pits. He's going to stay out, amazingly, and do another lap. I'm not sure if his rear left is going to thank him for it, though. So Woozy up into P7, and he's got 4-second gap to Astrof, who is now only 7.7 behind Erotikos. Erotikos still hasn't pit yet, so he's going for a really long medium stint now. And he was about 12.5 ahead of Astrof a couple of laps ago, and Astrof's now at 7.4. What's Javi up to? Is he going to come in? This is the final corner before the pit lane. Again, his rear left is struggling. It's a little bit better than some of the other drivers that we've seen that are still out. But he is staying out again. What about CMP is also staying out? Looks like BX obviously is staying out. He's managed to get past Owen. Owen really struggling. I think that might be a 3-second penalty because he's got a puncture on his rear left. That's why I was sliding through the final corner, and it allowed BX to get past him as well. So just pushing it a little bit too much in the car. And as you know, now that we've had this lovely update, you can't drive on completely red tyres anymore, which I personally think is a great addition, or re-addition I should say, to the game. So Owen was close to Astrof and Woozy was about 4 seconds behind. So Owen was might be behind them already. It looks like Perry isn't going to be too far behind either. Now, I'm not sure. There we go. There's the 3-second penalty I expected Owen to get. He is behind Monty, who hasn't pit yet. So Monty really doing pretty well here. Owen on the hards as well. So Monty is going to start defending from Owen, and then it's going to be from Perry, and then probably Owen again after these he catches up these 3 seconds again. Yeah, he's about to serve that penalty in a few corners, but he's still going to try and get past Monty. Goes very wide into corner entry on those hard tyres, not used to braking so early for the corners clearly, and kind of shoved Monty out the way a little bit there. Perry all over the back as well, just kind of biding his time because these two keep making little bits of contact. This is great news for Perry because he's going to get past Monty, or is he? Because Monty's not playing the game. Monty really didn't give Perry any space there. Perry's going to have to try and move around the outside. Another little bit of contact pushes Perry out the way, and he's going to have to stick it, which he is on these soft tyres. They are still superior to Monty's. Monty is going for another lap. I'm going to tell you right now, I think his car is for sure going to puncture on this lap. Owen's already caught up to the back of him despite a 3-second penalty being served. That is the difference between the pace of these two at the moment. Oh, Monty's struggling. He's just about to go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. In the wall, and he's got a good few corners of the lap left. Capel's getting past. Pyro's getting past. As we see Monty drop to the back, we're going to be able to see where all the other drivers have come out. He's actually trying to fight Pyro a little bit there. It's not going to work. He's got damage as well. Eroticos is behind him now, and he just can't steer at all. Makes a little bit of contact. Meanwhile, Javi's in the pits, so let's put Monty out of his misery. He's going to have to come in the pits this lap anyway. Just a tyre change for Javi, by the looks of things. Now, is he behind Astro? He is, but he's on the soft, so he's 5 seconds behind. He should be able to catch that up pretty easily with the difference in tyres. He's crucially come out as well ahead of Woozy. So 1 second worse for Javi, and he would have had a bit of overtaking to do, but he's got some nice clear air on these soft tyres, as long as he can keep it on track to start setting some solid times. CMP still out, but look at his tyres. BX Royal back in the lead of the race by good 18, 19, 20, 21 seconds on Astro. CMP coming into the pits now. Really stretched this stint as much as he possibly could. I'm wondering, I think Capel came into the pits as well, so he's out in P11. Monty's out plumb last by quite a significant margin, so Capel's made 2 stops now. So different. Who's crashed? There were yellow flags out, not quite sure why. Maybe it's because Monty was getting out of the way and being lapped, so the first driver to be lapped. Capel's not too far away from getting lapped though. There is BX coming, and he's hitting the wall again. Right, let's focus on the front. Now that everything's shuffled out, BX Royal has a 19-second lead on Astro. Astro's started on the softs and has gone on the mediums now. BX Royal has cut the gap by nearly 2 seconds to Astro since he's come out the pits already on these soft tyres. So this should be a good little battle for P2 fairly soon. Woozy doing a great job here. He's going to have to pit soon though on those mediums. Still 2.5 ahead of CMP, who's just pit for the hards as well. One of the latest to stop. So I think maybe we might see him try cheeky one lapper on the hards and come straight into the pits. We'll have to wait and see. And into the wall, he's going into the pits, yeah. So a double stop, 2 stops in 2 laps for CMP. Interesting strategy. He's definitely going to be going onto the softs now. Perry's come in as well from P6, so that's going to promote Pyro and Peachy a place each unless they also come in. Arex Javi now 1.8 behind Astro, so let's ride on board with him and see how he's tackling these corners to close the gap. He's also setting his fastest lap. Strategies. I think everyone has to do every tyre, because we've seen every tyre on multiple cars so far. But it's I think some people are trying 3 stops and some people are trying 2 stop strategies. That's why we saw CMP come straight into the pits again. the top guys all need to do a hard tyre stint at the moment. Astro looks like he's coming in, is he? Everyone just keeps hitting that wall. Horrendous attempts at this final corner. So Astro, one of the first front runners to come in for his second stop, apart from CMP, but I have a feeling he'll be comfortably ahead of CMP, who's now 54 seconds off the lead. But he's got 5.8 to Eroticos in front. Woozy and Astro in the pits. Let's see what Pyro's up to. Looks like he surely has to come in. He decides to stay out. This is going to be a very, very painful final lap for Pyro. I think that's the wrong decision. So Astro's coming out of the pits now. Let's see if he comes out in traffic, because his direct rival in this race really is Arex Javi, and he's gone for a big undercut, but he's also come out on the hard tyres, so he might start coming under pressure from his teammate Eroticos, who's up in P5 now. So things looking a little bit better for Team Gulf as it stands. P4 and P5 for those two, and then Perry in P8, so all three in the top 8. That's what you want to be aiming for, all three drivers in the top 8 to give yourself the best chance going through. But we do have to wait and see what happens. We've got CMP right behind Woozy. Woozy just coming out of the pits. Woozy is on the softs as well as CMP, so this is a battle for position on equal tyres, and CMP muscling his way through there. CMP battling with the weird pit strategies. We're seeing cars battling each other on track for position and with strategy in mind as well. So yeah, it's weird. It's bringing drivers who were very high up down into to racing drivers that were in the midfield, and the midfield ones are racing the guys at the bottom. And Capel went from last up to P8 again through all this. So and Owen's down in P9 despite being up with the leaders for quite a while. So yeah, it's all going to shake out interestingly towards the end. Astro's in the pits again, so he copied that strategy of just doing a single lap on hard tyres. So is he going to go for a soft stint now or a medium? Looks like he's dropping all the way to the back. He's just behind Peachy. He's on the softs. Peachy's also on the softs, so they might not get in each other's way. Peachy on a bit of a recovery now for Pennzoil into the top 10 with a fresh set of tyres. He can focus on pushing, potentially catching Pyro. Everyone seems to be on softs at the moment in this little gaggle of cars. Pyro's on the softs as well. Owen on the mediums, falling a little bit behind Capel, who's on the softs, so that does make sense. Then we got Woozy a long way up, still in P5. CMP in 4th. Eroticos suddenly in P3, but he's going to have to make a pit stop fairly soon. 31 seconds behind Javi, by the way, who's cut the gap to BX to 14 now. So the fastest lap of the race for BX was a 5.3. The fastest that Javi has managed so far is 6.2, and he's on soft tyres right now as well, so this isn't the most impressive pace for Javi, but at the moment, because BX is doing a medium stint and currently lapped everyone all the way up to P8, there's just Pyro in front of him, he's starting to lose a bit of time, but the pendulum will swing again when they make their pit stops and potentially go on different tyres. BX definitely has to go on hard tyres at some point. I think Javi does as well. So we might see them just do a single lap on the hards. Eroticos in the pits now. I think he's on his way into the pits there. So let's see how many people manage to get past him in these pits. You've got Capel, still with fairly fresh softs, so he could do another good few laps on those before he has to come in. He's being caught by Owen. Owen only 4/10 behind now on much fresher but medium tyres. Owen's had a lot more pace than Capel around here though. Pyro's managed to get past Eroticos as well, and it looks like Peachy is as well. There we go, Peachy and Astro, and this has worked out pretty well for Eroticos because he doesn't have to get out of the way for the car that's lapping everybody, BX Royal, but other drivers will shortly. This is potentially affecting BX's race at the moment. Let's ride on board with him. We've got two drivers ahead battling for position on track. His tyres aren't doing too well anyway. So they might even have a pace advantage of it on him. And they don't really seem like they want to be getting out of the way. There are blue flags waving manically. If I was BX, I'd just pit to get out of this, because must be fairly annoying. And also the gap to Javi's dropped down to 9.4. Javi having no one to lap at the moment. So BX just getting really unlucky with where the traffic is. And he's carrying on again. I mean, you can see Peachy's actually driving away from him here. He's lapping in the 109s at the moment, these last 3 laps. So a long way off what he is capable of on the softs. And there, another 109.6. So, yeah, struggling a bit BX. Javi's catching up again. 107.9 was his lap, so another 2 seconds a lap quicker he is at the moment. CMP just ahead of Woozy, and yeah, Woozy hasn't let CMP get away from him ever since CMP got that spot. So really, really good racing here from CMP. Capel somehow is in P5 at the moment. Surely, well, his tyres are doing a little bit better than the guys in P1 and 2 as well. This is going to be Woozy's chance. He's got the inside line for the first corner. And it looks like CMP has kept the position. Yeah, Woozy's an interesting one. He can sometimes bring out this unreal pace. He's another one that likes to drive in a variety of different cars, signs up for a lot of the different leagues. BX in the pits now. Let's see if Javi joins him. Javi's going to stay out 1 lap longer on the softs. I wonder if where BX is going to come out in relation to CMP. I'm assuming he's not going to put in fuel, but could easily be wrong on that. And if he is, well, there's a 40-second gap. It is going down every corner because BX was on completely dead tyres by the end. So he gained pretty much 6 to 8 tenths there on the exit of that corner alone. CMP on his teammate. So BX Royal on the softs, comfortably out ahead actually. He's actually 18.6 behind Javi, but they are out of sequence in terms of pit stops. So at the moment things going really well for Alpine Stars. They are 2nd and 3rd, and Monty's actually in 10th as well, so he's not even at the back, but he looks like he's about to make his pit stop. Perry must be having a bit of a nightmare, same with the Roticos, because all of a sudden they are in the last 2 positions. Nice little bit of clear air for Roticos. Perry's about to be lapped fairly soon by BX Royal once again. So BX about to join a little bit of traffic with lapping. Perry coming up. Woozy's still very close to the back of CMP. Now we've got Javi coming in the pits. So expecting Javi to potentially come out somewhere near CMP. There's a 30-second gap to these guys. Yeah, Gulf struggling. I think it might be a 3-horse race for the final as it stands, to be honest. I think Gulf are not doing too good in this race. So here comes Arex Javi out the pits now. He's a good... Oh, there's Monty as well. He's going to have to get out of the way of his teammate. As he gets out of the way and more, that allows Woozy to get through as well. So it's only 3.9 seconds the gap between CMP and Javi. CMP obviously at the end of his soft stint. Woozy's approaching the end of his as well. Same with Capel. Now Owen is trying everything he can to get past Capel at the moment. He's got much fresher tyres and a lot more grip on them. Capel's tyres are pretty dead, even though they're a little bit more optimal tyres. Capel on the softs and Owen on the mediums. Owen trying to go around the outside. I don't think around the outside really works on any of these corners at this track. He's going to try and do it again here. If he can get the inside line for the next corner and stick it to Capel, he could potentially get the position. And he's going to try. Pyro's trying to go through as well, out of absolutely nowhere. It's like Pyro's battling with his teammates. Pyro's on the soft tyres, so I don't know if that was planned or not, but very messy. Pyro thinking he could get past Capel comfortably here. Maybe just a bit fed up of being stuck behind this guy. Looks like Capel's put his indicator on. He's coming into the pits. So Pyro going to try a little bit of a different corner, and Owen behind him, actually coming under pressure from Astro, who's trying to recover from making a double pit stop in one go, and he's got a long way to go in this race, but he's going to get past Owen fairly easily there, and Pyro will be his next victim here. And this will be the first Gulf driver in the top 5 if he manages it. And now, this should be the run that we're waiting for. Astro's going to try and move around the outside, just like how we saw with Owen. Pyro going really deep, way too deep into the barrier, and he's lost the position to Owen, and that might be the mistake that everyone else has been waiting for, and potentially puts Yokohama a little bit too far down. That is damage as well. Peachy on a charge now, and Pennzoil into the top 8. Fairly close to Pyro now, even though his tyres are much worse off. Yeah, we did catch Pyro's big mistake live on TV. It looks like Capelle's coming into the pits. Not Capelle, Peachy, sorry. Getting them confused. They are on the same team at least. Right, into the pits also is Owen, so that releases a few of these guys. Pyro catching up to Woozy and CMP now, so it's all confusing because these guys are like down in P12 and then they're up in the top 5 in the space of a couple of laps because people are double pitting one after another to get rid of these hard tyres, and it's putting everyone completely out of position. People are getting lapped left, right, and centre because BX stayed out so incredibly long. And then they pit, and then BX pits and laps them again. So it's all kicking off. Woozy is really close to the back of CMP. They have come into the pits and come out still in P4 and P5, so that's very strong for them. Astro is going to have to pit fairly soon. Javi and BX are nowhere near having to pit, so the only one in the top 5 having to pit fairly soon, it looks like it's going to be this lap, is Astro. And he's into the pit, so this is going to put CMP back into the top 3. Reminder, Alpine Stars 2 in the top 3 now, and where is Monty? Monty's down in P12, which we were kind of expecting, but 2 in the top 3 is absolutely massive. Woozy in P4, having an absolutely fantastic race for Yokohama, with Pyro 6th currently and Owen 7th. If they get 3 cars in the top 7, despite that mistake we saw from Pyro, it could bode fairly well for them. Owen looks like he's battling with Astro. There's BX, perfect timing actually, but Astro's got a 3-second penalty. There's Owen right behind him, and that is a huge disaster for Astro, and that could actually be the mistake that eliminates Gulf, because Astro seems to be their only hope at the moment. With that 3-second penalty, where is his teammates? Arotikos all the way down in 11th. Perry all the way down in 10th, trying to get past Peachy. Peachy on fresh softs, I don't think it's going to happen. Perry trying to actually distract him massively, but I don't think that's going to work, and Perry gets pushed out the way by Happy. I know that was intentional. It was like, I'm going to save you, Peachy, and just pushes Perry out the way, and just and that was, I bet you afterwards he's going to blame it on blue flags as well. He's going to be like, Perry, there was blue flags, you should have got out of the way. I'm absolutely guaranteeing that is what's going to happen, right? Okay, I'm so glad I did a little check of the teams just then. So Pyro is just 4/10 ahead of Capelle. These two have been battling quite a lot in this race, so must be on fairly similar strategies. Oh my god, that was just beautiful. I'm sorry, Perry, my teammate of 3 seasons, but that was very funny. Flags now because his teammate is about to come up to lap him. So we've got 3 Pennzoils, all very close on track at the moment, but let's go back to the lead. BX now has a 12-second lead on Javi, so that's still a very, very commanding lead. I think they are doing the same number of pits, aren't going to pit again for the rest of the race, I'd imagine. Unless they're going to pit on the last lap for hard tyres, yeah, I think both of them will have to do that. CMP, I'm not sure if he's been on the hards. Potentially might have to do the same as Woozy. Owen could be in with an outside chance of a podium here if he doesn't have to put on hards. Because, oh, pits are closed in the final lap. Okay, so that means lap 34 will be the last opportunity to pit. CMP has done a lap on hards, but he's 42 seconds behind BX, so that's not enough for one pit stop, even with one lap on the hard tyres. Javi, 31 seconds, I still don't think that's enough either. So I think the top two are pretty much locked out. Unless CMP has an absolute blinder of the final 6 laps. So CMP should be on a lock for a podium, Woozy should be on for a great P4, and then Owen P5. Astro, unfortunately, down in P6 at the moment. We saw him do that double pit stop. Pyro down in P7th, comfortably ahead of Capel at the moment, who's ahead of Peachy, who's still ahead of Eroticos, and Perry's actually come out in 11th and pit for some soft tyres. So I don't know what that strategy was by Perry, but he is, yeah, he's not scoring many points tonight for the Gulf team. Does Javi have to do the ones on hards though? I don't know. I think he does have to do hards. Did people? Yeah, I think maybe 1 or 2 pit on lap 1. I think Capel was one that pit on lap 1, and someone was behind him as well because. Yeah. Definitely people pit on lap 1. Capel letting Javi through there. So Javi falling another second or so behind BX Royal. Come on, let's find some good battles. Astro is chasing down Owen. Maybe Owen pit on lap 1. I can't remember. Someone who's watching, maybe rewind and see who pit at the end of lap 1. Because if that's actually a penalty, that's you not getting into the finals. Essentially guaranteed. Oh, big mistake there from Owen. He's lost 7 tenths, 8 tenths of a second, 9 tenths of a second because of that one mistake. It looks like he's gone really wide into this corner as well. Astro on fire at the moment, absolutely nailing the apexes there. That must be, I'm assuming that would be a 30-second penalty if you pit on lap 1 when you're not allowed. I don't think it would be a whole minute. A whole minute's like not doing a certain tyre when you're meant to. I don't think it's as bad as that. But yeah, even if it's 30 seconds. Well, there's quite a lot of field spread, so it might only end up being a few positions. But yeah, it's going to be crucial, I reckon, if that is true. Astro losing a bit of traction on the exit, had to lift to avoid clattering the wall and allowing Owen to get away a little bit again. Is it lap 0.5 or lap 1.5 that counts? That's a good question. Because technically lap 1 is that 20-30 second run to the start finish line here. So they might actually have got away with it if they actually pit on the end of lap 2, but it's the end of the first full lap. Oh, real good side-by-side action going on right now between Astro and Owen. Owen actually looks like he won it. Astro seemed to back out. He's gonna, and he's got a half-second penalty for his troubles as well. It's the first lap. Lap 0 to 0.5, you can't pit. So yeah, I'm not sure if Astro's going to be able to now. Owen's got 3 more laps. Let's join Javi. Oh, BX has come in for his hard stint, so we were wrong. He does have to do his hard stint. Javi has just come in now as well. So BX had to do hards a little bit longer than Javi, really struggling with that final corner. The gap was around about 13 seconds that BX had, approaching the end of this race. CMP, remember, he is maybe with an outside chance of catching Javi. He's 27 seconds behind. He's going to be on softs. Javi is going to come out. It looks like it says he's on softs. Let's wait and see. He's on the hard tires, so there's going to be an opportunity here, absolutely, for CMP to catch Javi. Javi is only 10 seconds behind BX, so he has closed the gap, but he's only got 3 laps left. That isn't a fight that we want to be concerned with. Javi is going to have to fend off first CMP, and then Woozy, who's just coming into the corner. Javi already really struggling on those hard tires, but CMP himself will be struggling because look at that rear left, it's completely gone, but this might end up being a 1-2 for Alpine Stars, which would be a fantastic result for these guys, really put them in pole position for qualifying into the final. Javi is the man in their way. Javi really needing to get a good result for his team because the next highest driver is down in P8. He goes wide into the corner. CMP is going to try and swoop through, but there's now a left-hander which Javi will have an advantage for. Goes really wide there. That is a definite penalty if it gets reported. Woozy's going to swoop past CMP as a result. So that's huge because Woozy, all of a sudden, Woozy, who didn't even take part in the last chance, Pyro and Owen did, but Woozy's beating both of them. Owen in P5, Pyro in P7. This is going to be a huge points haul for them. And Woozy now with a great chance of actually getting P2. So the team that qualified through last chance, and everyone was writing off, everyone was saying you don't want to be in this lobby in the semi-final, they might be in P1 overall at the end of the day. Certainly P2. Oh, what is going on? That is a mess. What is going on? CMP in P4, Woozy in P3, Javi in P2 still somehow. Perry involved there as well, getting absolutely shafted. Yeah, Woozy's got no tyres left. We are on the final lap. I know BX is going to win, but we're going to have to stick with this. CMP is going to try and get through as well. He's actually going to get a double overtake done somehow. Javi completely unable to do anything about that. It looks like Woozy's about to get a spin from the lapped car there, the Gulf. But yeah, it looks like it's pretty much over now. Woozy's tyres are completely dead, and Perry and Eroticos are queuing up behind him because their tyres are obviously much better. Owen's tyres are completely dead now as well. He's just being completely shoved out of the way by Astrov. What is going on? Right, let's go to the finish line. BX is nearly there. He's got his final corner. He's built his lead up on P2 to 14 seconds. It is a huge win for BX, very dominant. His teammate CMP on completely dead tyres is going to potentially get caught by Javi on this run down to the last corner. Can he brake in time and actually make the finish line? Everyone has joined him at the front. He's limping home. It's not going to be enough for Javi. Javi gets P3. Woozy with 2 completely dead tyres takes P4. Astrov does have some life left on his tyres, but he's 26 seconds back now. He's ahead of Owen. Owen all over the place, and Astro's going to get a top 5 for Gulf at least, so all of the teams are represented in the top 5. And he's going to make it around the final corner, and Pyro's actually got past Owen now, so it's going to be a 6-7. And luckily for Owen, one of the cars that passed him at the end was his teammate, so it doesn't make a difference. Peachy is going to be P8, so a solid P8 for Peachy. Capel P9, so 2 solid, well, 3 in the top 9 for Pennzoil. It's going to keep them in with a shout. Unfortunate for Perry, 10th, Eroticos 11th, both Gulf drivers, and then the Alpine Stars of Monty in 12th, which will penalise the 1-2 and not allow them to get away too much, but yeah, minimum points there contributed by the third driver. That was interesting. Also, BX gets the fastest lap, so I'm sure that's an extra point for Alpine Stars as well. Right. What the hell was that last couple of laps? It turned from some really quality racing to just an absolute mess. I'm going to ask about what's happening in Lobby B as well. Because in the final, obviously, only 2 of these ones are qualifying, and then 2 teams from the other lobby are going to qualify as well. Right, let's see. Looks like Gilles gonna save the day and send us the results for the other lobby. Woozy leaves the room. I don't know why that's happened. I'm pretty sure he's racing. Maybe he has to buy the car. I'm gonna choose to believe that. Yeah, Yokohama actually did incredibly well there. I'm surprised. They were the outsiders coming into this, and they finished very well. Could have been better if Owen didn't ruin his tyres and lose. I think he maybe lost 2 positions there at the end. Gulf have a gulf to overcome if they're gonna qualify. I'm gonna rule them out right now. I think it's a 3-way fight now in Lobby A. I think Alpine Stars should be fairly comfortable because I can imagine another double podium for them in the next race. And Spin's joining as well, so he could be contributing a little bit more points-wise than Monty managed in that first race. 20 laps, 5-minute qualifying and 20 laps around Spa in the Bugatti. Obviously it's Group 1 car, so we're getting a lot more closer to the F1 kind of speeds rather than what we used to in Group 3 for comparison. No rain by the looks of things, but we might get some lobby resets. Quackhouse has joined. Is Quackhouse in? No, I bet he's joined because it's it's also the first race on the calendar. Right, okay, I've got the results from Lobby B, sorry. Eric Slim won, and his teammate was Scotty in P5, and I can't see anyone else with that livery, so maybe, well, there's only 9 people in this lobby, so maybe one team, or maybe a few teams don't have a lot of drivers. Maybe it's Claus, I don't know. Hurricane in P2, that's a great result for Hurricane, with Orak in P7 and Fracas in P8, so 3 in the top 8 for their team. Kellen in P3, we saw him take a double win last time we were commentating, with Gilles in P6 and Mike in P9. Okay. And then we've got... Is it just Claus on his own? I don't know what's going on with this. Why is there only 9 drivers? I'm gonna ask. Two teams missing drivers in Semi 2. 3, because there was only 9 in the lobby. Unless Claus is all on his own. Claus is the only one with that livery, so I'm assuming that's the correct livery. It doesn't look like a stock one. So Claus on his own, and then Slim and Scotty have teamed up, but they don't have a third driver. But they both scored really well. So it just depends on how many points we're giving to P9, P8, P7. There's a lot of... Oh yeah, Claus has just said he drove alone. Oh, that's a shame. Imagine putting in all that effort and qualifying and then your teammates just don't turn up for the scheduled semi-final. What the hell's up with that? Woozy is coming back. Yeah, I thought he was going to be racing. Well, I'm glad I'm hosting this lobby then, because it's not only competitive, but everyone's actually showed up to it. Yeah, that's good news for Mike, because obviously we know Mike's not one of the quickest guys, but he was available tonight for his team, and he gets points for P9, because so they've actually got 3 drivers, and finishing last actually will get you quite a few points in P9. Viking still living for the previous race. Those last couple of laps were banter. It wasn't really driving. It was like You wouldn't even see it in like daily races, to be honest. The cars are completely dead and everyone's just crashing into each other. But the cars are going so slow because of the fucking section of the track it was on. Beautiful. Maybe that needs to be a YouTube short, I don't know. I see. So Mike's actually making way for JMS for the final race in Lobby B, the only team that are changing. So they actually had all 4 of their drivers available, and some people, well, one team only had 1 driver. So look out for Castrol at the end. Obviously, they were the other ones in the last chance, so potentially both last chance teams are going to get through to the final. Falcon had 3 drivers, so they've got a great chance of going through. Bilstein, I don't even know how you say that. They had 2 drivers, but they finished very well, both of them. So they've still got a decent chance, and Claw's just on his own at the end. Starting soon. Okay, great. We're going to be starting qualifying first. Ah, these are some good liveries. I don't think Owen's got the Yokohama one. It's all blue, his. And Pyro's is like a red colour. So just have to remember that. I'm guessing that is the stock colour on Owen's car. This is going to be one of those starting soons where he does not start soon. Oh, indeed, disqualified for no livery. Go and tell him. That'll be the reason they don't qualify for the final as well. There is no Yokohama livery. Oh yeah, Woozy's got a different livery to Pyro as well. So all 3 of them misbehaving here. I think we'll be joining Pyro for his outlap and see how quickly he gets overtaken again. Oh, I guess Yokohama didn't believe that they were qualifying, so they didn't get delivery sorted. Because they only got through on last chance. So they had to practice. I guess they just focused on practicing a little bit more. Lol. Come on, let's get going. This is why post-comms is better. You can just, oh, here we go. You can just dive straight into it. No messing about. No faff. Right. So, Pyro is here in P9. It looks like we're on the 24-hour track as well, so exactly the same as what we're doing in a week and a bit in Group 3s. Here we go. First on track is Pyro. Do we have a high time multiplier? Let's have a look at the event settings actually. So we got 20 laps. Easy. Loads of weather settings. Variable time speed is 5 times. We're starting in the afternoon, so it'll get dark. Grid start, 8 times tires and 3 times fuel. So the tire wear is going to be, or should be, fairly massive. So here's Pyro again in his unmarked car, real basic. He's getting chased by Javi. Let's ride on board with Javi. Oh, he's wasted no time. Actually, I was going to say super clean, a little bit of contact on exit there, but yeah, Javi is now at the front of the queue. And he's 2 miles ahead of everyone else. Javi burning through his tyres more than Pyro, as you can tell, because he's not hanging around, but it might penalise him on this hot lap, because we've got high tyre wear. That Pennzoil livery looks much better. on a Group 1 car where it kind of belongs, rather than whatever the hell we were racing in that previous race. Javi rounding these corners like they're absolutely nothing in the Group 1s. Coming down to the bus stop chicane. Has to get a really good exit out of this final corner, and he doesn't. He goes into the pits. Is it about to start raining? I don't think so. I don't know what's going on, but let's ride on board with Pyro. He's, yeah, it's definitely not going to start raining. I don't know what Javi's up to. Peachy's done the same, so Pennzoil trying some strategy. I'm not exactly sure what. Capel's obviously done the same, his teammates. Pyro, meanwhile, is the first one to be actually setting a lap. So we'll see what his Sector 1 looks like, and then we'll compare it with BX's. The 35.2. And a 35.3. Okay. Pyro actually faster than BX at the moment. So it's been mentioned that they'll have fresher tyres and lower fuel for their hot laps and have a little bit of an advantage actually. Could potentially be getting the same number of laps in as well as the other cars despite that. So maybe that is what their tactic is there. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out for them. Pyro, oh, it's all gone wrong again. Oh dear. Yeah, real tough luck there for Pyro. This is going to be his quickest lap as well. Look how much his tyres are going off. This second lap is third lap that he's going to enter is going to be pretty poor in comparison. So it's basically a one-shot qualifying this one. I don't think Pyro would be able to come in and make a pit stop and do a whole out lap. No, it definitely wouldn't. So this is his one chance, and then he's got to try and beat it on dead tyres on the next lap. So let's see how this works out for him. Into the bus stop chicane, clatters the curbs, gets a bit of a smoother exit there. And he sets a 2:03.4. The X-Royal was the next one. Where is he? Well, he's actually at the back of the queue, so it won't be him. Owen's letting everyone through. Peachy came into the pits. Astro is going to be the next person to actually set a time. So the Gulf driver is going to go in P1 by 0.8 of a second. Woozy coming across up into P2. Astro, Perry actually onto provisional pole now with a huge lead over Spin, who's putting a good showing for his team. Aeroticos up into P1 now. CMP up into P1 now. So we've got some really good first laps there. CMP on provisional pole position at the moment. Really good result for him. Owen slotting it down in P8 with a 2:29. That is a terrible lap. He's had a mistake somewhere. BX Royal is about to start his flying lap, so he will be the last person to set a lap in this session. Capel just ahead of him has only set an in lap and well, 2 out laps essentially, same as BX and Peachy a little bit further up. Owen has set a horrendous lap there, and his tyres are really struggling already, so he's potentially thrown his qualifying in the bin here with Yokohama. Pyro also was really struggling, but he's the guy at the front, so let's stick with him one more time. He really needs to be on an improvement, and yeah, it's not going to be an improvement. So let's scroll back up and see. Astro is going to be the next driver to set a fast lap, so Pyro's definitely going to set a slower one. Pyro's going to be qualifying outside the top 10, I reckon, when all these guys round these corners. Really tough to drive this car, obviously. A lot can go wrong very quickly, and we've seen that happen a few times. So Astro's about to cross the sector line fairly soon. We'll see if he's on an improvement. He's only 2/10 down, so he's still got a good chance of improving on incredibly worn tyres. Let's just stick with him a little bit longer, and then we'll move down to, I think, Woozy, who is the next one. Oh, really bad entry. I have a feeling that he's not going to improve. just misses out by a tenth of improving. Next up is Woozy, and then it's Eroticos, who's up in P2 at the moment. Woozy slightly ahead of Eroticos, gets really squirrely outside the exit there. Eroticos doesn't improve. Spin is coming across the line, doesn't improve. CMP doesn't improve as well. Perry's about to cross the line, followed by Peachy. Perry isn't going to improve either. This is Peachy's one lap to set something. He's up in P4. Owen goes up into P5, actually. Javi's going to cross the line, takes P1. Capale in P11 and BX just behind him. Capale goes up into third, and BX Royal, is it going to be pole position? Only P2, so Javi gets pole position for Team Pennzoil, top 2 in the top 4 with Capale in P4 as well, so great qualifying for Pennzoil. BX is CMP, second and third for Alpine Stars, so it's definitely those two, and then a decent qualifying actually for Gulf, Eroticos 5th and Perry 6th. Something to build off of in the race, and then the third Pennzoil car in 7th, so 3 in the top 7 for Pennzoil, great for them. And then the highest Yokohama, Owen Williams, so not great for him. Then we got Spin in the other Alpine Stars in 9th, much better than in the first race, is getting 3 in the top 9. Astro in the Gulf in 10th, and then Woozy and Pyro absolutely nowhere in the end in 11th and 12th. So Yokohama, they've got it all to do basically. 59.2. Yeah, 59.2, 6 tenths quicker than BX Royal as well. BX had slightly more fuel on board though. Yeah, Pennzoil definitely swinging back. Gulf, yeah, 3 in the top 10. Astro actually, who is the star performer, performing the worst here, which just shows how changing the cars can completely change who's on top and who's not, and that's why sometimes in these events you see certain drivers suddenly the quickest that you wouldn't expect in the normal league, because they're not even tier 1 in Group 3, but it's a different beast. There is a lot of different factors to take in. Some people really practice for these races, and some people don't even buy the car until the last second. Anyway, 12 cars, we've got 20 laps around Spa in Belgium, and Arix Javi is on pole position. Javi versus BX versus CMP, lights out and away we go. Looks like a great start from Javi, terrible start from CMP. Capale getting a better start than CMP and challenging it up into Eau Rouge side by side. They can do it because the cars are going fairly slow, and it looks like Capale did get past CMP. Let's ride on board with CMP. All 4 of these drivers incredibly close together, with the Eroticos and Perry just behind. Line astern and blocking the inside line. BX and CMP looks like they're going to try and go around the outside, and that's not going to work for them, and that allows Eroticos to get a little bit closer as well. Can he keep it on? Yep, he's not got optimal line for the next corner though. CMP's going to swoop round, and there's a little bit of daylight now between these top 4 as we're going through the infield section of the track. A little bit further back, Perry really close to the back of Eroticos. Eroticos has actually gone for it on CMP, gets the position. I don't know, a little bit of argy-bargy there. We'll have to wait and see how people think about that. But Perry has a great chance of getting through now as well on the inside. And it looked like he lost a bit. And CMP's off track. Peachy is off track, way off track there as well. CMP all the way down in 9th. So that's good news for Owen on a bit of a charge. Astro's definitely on a charge from 10th to 7th already on the hard tyres as well. We'll do a little bit of a check of the tyre situation fairly soon. Astro putting a lot of pressure on Peachy. Peachy defending the inside into the next corner and really backing up Astro at the moment. I don't know if this is a tactic by Peachy, but it could be something that works really well if he is trying to give his teammates the best chance of guaranteeing top 5. Owen's coming through though, he's not wasting any time. Let's see as they go down into the bus stop chicane, all 3 of them incredibly close together right now. But yeah, Peachy's doing a fantastic job here. Owen, everyone else is incredibly close together actually. CMP down to 8th now. This is a terrible opening lap for CMP and Alpine Stars. So Their progress isn't guaranteed because Spin is all the way back in 12th as well. Let's see what's happening at the front. Javi's got a 1.1 second lead at the moment on BX Royal. And we have another 8/10 back to Capel. Capel having a much better second race with Eroticos now really close to the back of Capel. So tyre situation, mediums for BX. This is bad news for BX that he's that far behind Javi on the softer tyres. Capel's on the hards and Eroticos is on the medium. So if Capel can keep Eroticos behind, that is doing him a massive favour. A little further down, CMP's all the way up into P7 already, but he's 1.7 behind Peachy. Peachy's managed to get away from this little battle. Owen falling back now as well. Pyro down in 9th, Woozy 10th. Astro's had a big issue somewhere because he's dropped from 7th down to 11th in the matter of corners. And Spin currently in last place. He needs to be doing a little bit better on those medium tyres if they're going to guarantee Alpine Stars gets through, because they may have had a good opening result, but only BX on the podium at the moment, and CMP not even in the top 6. CMP with the Lando special on the first lap. Well, I'm not saying anything about that. Right, where's all the battling going? It looks like CMP has caught up to Peachy now, so CMP definitely still has the pace on these drivers. He's just found himself somewhere where he's not really used to being, down in the midfield in the opening laps, struggling behind Peachy now. Peachy's gonna really want to put in a shift to keep CMP behind because he's got his two teammates up above to think about. Looks like CMP's gonna try and move around the outside though, and are they going to be able to stay? They do make a bit of contact. Owen lurking in the background as well. CMP's got the inside line for the bus stop. Peachy's going to have to try and hang it around the outside, which he's going to try and do, and he nearly gets away with it. Everyone still manages to get through the corner, and a little bit further back, it looks like Spin has managed to make 2 positions up. Astro all the way to last place now, behind Woozy as well. So Woozy having a terrible time, Astro having a terrible time. They were battling at the top 5 in the previous race, and they're absolutely nowhere as it stands. Pyro all over the back of Peachy now as well. So Peachy had a great start up into 6th place. Also had a fairly decent qualifying, but he's struggling in the race right now. He might have a go at Owen. He's going to get slipstream. So let's see what he can do. Owen going defensive. He's feeling like Peachy could pull alongside. And oh, that's an ugly brake light, isn't it? Come on, Bugatti, you're meant to be like the best car company in the world, and you just got a big ugly red line for a brake light. Come on, that's like fucking RoboCop brake light. Yeah, disaster by Yokohama. I think they've handed it to Pennzoil, to be honest, looking at this. Long way to go though, we're only on lap 3 of 20. Peachy nearly loses it, saves it, and actually takes the exit of the corner fairly decent there. We're starting to see some gaps now. Pyro settling into 9th, which is not where he wants to be. A little bit further up, oh, and Astro's got a half-second penalty. Oh no. Oh dear. How many laps of practice do you think Astro had? I'm going to go with 4. Meanwhile, Javi is getting caught by BX Royal. And it looks like Eroticos got past Capel as well. So the pendulum is swinging. We have a gulf on the podium, guys. But his teammate Astro's dragging the score down, that's for sure. They all needed to be pretty much top 6 to have a chance going through. BX is lapping a lot quicker than Javi. BX on the mediums, Javi on the hards. BX with a 1.3 as the fastest lap, and Javi with a 1.5. So it's really not lapping that much slower than BX. So I think Javi might have this race wrapped up pace-wise. We have to see what happens with strategies and potentially mistakes as well. We haven't seen an infamous BX Royal spin yet, so that's always on the cards. Capel really close to Eroticos now. I'm wondering when the pendulum's going to swing with the medium tyres when they start going off. I'm going to guess maybe 3 laps. Eroticos really wide there. And then Capel matching that with the worst corner I've seen in quite a while. And I did just watch the end of that last race as well. Gotta hit Javi with a random performance unrelated doping test. I mean, Iggy, how many times should we have given you those tests? Whoa, what's happened to Perry? I heard some screeching. Oh, he was doing so well. They were potentially rescuing Team Gulf there. Really in the hunt there in the top 5. And now CMP's got past. CMP's terrible start is looking a little bit better because he's up a position. Perry's got a lot of damage as well. Owen might fancy a little nibble at Perry as well. So it's over, boys, for Gulf. I'm gonna call it there. Unless there's, I mean, these guys are making a lot more mistakes than the first race. So I have a feeling that these guys haven't been practicing this one as hard. Obviously, you had to learn the Eigen 01 track and learn how to race it on sports tyres. So it does take a bit more time if you're sensible practicing on that one, because everyone knows Spotlight at the back of the hand. Group 1 cars aren't that difficult, but maybe they are. Perry's washed. Perry is teaming up with Viking next season, by the way. They're gonna potentially end up in a Pua car, and Perry is going to try and do a little bit better than Mate did this season as Viking's teammate and avoid getting relegated the following time. What's anything happening? Oh, Capale is having a go at Eroticos. It looks like we are reaching the crossover point with how good these tyres are, and Capale is going to try and muscle his way past. Eroticos not going to make it easy for him, and Capale doesn't get the position right now. And yeah, Erotico's driving away a little bit out of some of these corners with the better tyres. Compound. BX just fell over a second behind Javi now, really sliding through those corners. A lot of drivers would have spun taking that much speed through the corners, but BX manages to hang on to it. Any other battling going on? Everyone's kind of spread out a little bit. Oh, Peach has got a half-second penalty. Yeah, it looks like the closest battle's actually between Spin and P11, and Ruzi has managed to get past him again. Astro, what's he up to? 35 seconds off the lead after 5 laps. Yeah, Ruzi's on the hard tyres though, so these guys, none of them think that they can do the strategy from the previous race where they only did like 1 lap on the hards and got rid of them, because everyone on the hards has been on for quite a while. The tyre wear is just too high to try and do that. I wonder if soft tyres are going to be mandatory for this race. I have a feeling that they're not, but if anyone knows, please correct me. So it could be a straightforward medium hard, or medium hard. Oh, Woozy very wide there. That's going to open the door very nicely for Spin to get past. Remember, for Alpine Stars, especially with CMP dropping back on a recovery drive here, he's going to go for it into turn 1. And he gets it. A little bit of contact, but I think that one's fine. And now Woozy's going to try and respond immediately after we get past Overeaters and Radion. Oh, no, he saves it, but he's lost all of the momentum that he had. So a little bit further up, what's going on? What is going on? Not much. This is a pretty close battle now between Javi and BX. So Javi, I've got to say, has done a fantastic job so far. He's on hard tyres. He's managed to keep BX firmly behind on the mediums the entire race. Yeah. He got a great getaway on the hards as well. The hards don't have as good of a getaway as the mediums, and the softs have an even better getaway, so he's done pretty well there. All 3 tyres are required, okay. So, yeah, the question's going to be how many laps are they going to get out of these soft tyres? 3 laps, 4 laps? 4 laps maximum, but the last few corners might be a bit hairy for some of them if they're not good at tyre saving. I mean, how much can tyre saving help when the tyre wear's this high on these cars? I don't know. Perry fastest lap. Okay. I'm paying attention. Unfortunately, he's got a lot of work to do. Erotico's having an absolute blinder, by the way. Didn't expect to see him on the podium. Tier 3 driver now, Eroticos. Javi is gapping BX, so the crossover has arrived. Capel is, yeah, a bit in no man's land after challenging Eroticos and having his own issue. CMP just a comfortable P4 now after his terrible start. Perry and Owen seem to be, well, Perry's on fire. Owen's starting to catch him now though. But he's going to be able to go much longer on his hard tyres. Pyro in P8 now has got past Peachy, so Peachy's a fantastic start. He's just settled down into 9th, kind of in no man's land himself. And then Spin still comfortably ahead of Woozy, but that's going to end with his half-second penalty. We've got Astro being the first driver to make his pit stop. This is an incredibly long stop, so we're not going to stick with him, because in a minute or two he's going to still be in there probably. So the gap at the front now, 2 seconds. It's looking incredibly good for our Pennzoil and Alpine Stars to qualify for the final. Gulf having a comeback, but it's going to be too little too late, I think. And Yokohama's highest driver is 7th, so I don't think you can rule them out, despite doing really well in the first race. All 3 in the top 7, now 1 in the top 7. Javi really extending now on BX. Erotico's still keeping up with them, it's got to be said. He's 6.9 off the lead, 4.2 behind BX, 3.3 ahead of CMP. He must be coming into the pits now. He isn't. Okay. Will those tyres last one more lap? What about Javi? BX's tyres are a lot better than Eroticos's. Eroticos going to be falling back on this final lap for sure. CMP doesn't believe that his can last another lap. Even though he's got a lot more life left than Eroticos, he's come in. He could get a good undercut. Owen is carrying on his hards. Perry in the pits off his mediums as well. We've got Spin. Looks like he's carrying on. Oh no, he's come into the pits. And Astro has a 3-second penalty for crossing the pit line. So it's just going from bad to worse for him. So we're going to stick with Eroticos because he has to have one hell of an in-lap in order to stay ahead of CMP, who's gone for the undercut on him. He's lapping in the 2-minute 3s at the moment. Not the worst pace. If you could do that kind of pace again, I think he'll be alright. But yeah, all 4 of those tyres pretty dead now. Whereas CMP has put on the soft tyres as well, so he does have the tyre advantage on Eroticos. So P3, we might soon be seeing 2 Alpine Stars in the top 3 once again. Eroticos surely coming in the pits. Oh, that wasn't a good corner. But why does it have a number 16 on the grill, but he's number 6? Weird. CMP will, yeah, I think CMP is going to jump Eroticos. He's going off track, and that front right isn't going to make 2 more corners, 3 more corners, especially with the high speed ones that we've got. Capel has caught up to him beautifully though. Capel, remember, is on the hard tyres, so this has come back to him fantastically. Eroticos going to pit and obviously get an undercut, but when Capel comes out, he's going to have a tyre advantage on Eroticos. Javi's coming off his hard tyres actually. Eroticos, is he going to carry on again? He's gone in. Capel's followed him as well. BX in the pits as well. Owen, what's he doing? He's gone in. What about Pyro? Pyro doesn't have to pit. He could be the race leader if he wants a little glory run. He hasn't. He's gone in. Peachy, he's going in. Bloody hell. Now we got Woozy coming through, and he is going in. Then we got CMP. Let's see if he can round these next few corners and end up in the top 3, or potentially better. Some of these drivers might be getting pit lane penalties on this really tricky exit as well, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Javi's already looks like he's out. BX looks like he's already out. Eroticos doesn't look like he put in fuel. He's got 37% left. Everyone else has gone up to the 60s. Maybe Eroticos is trying to get track position. CMP has under 50% left as well. So he is only 6.2 off the lead on the soft tyres. Javi has come out on the mediums. He's got a 1.7 second lead on BX, who's got the softs. He still wants to chase down Javi and get track position. CMP on the softs as well. Eroticos in P4 on the softs. Mediums now for Capel. So he's doing a good strategy, Capel. He's in the top 5 after everyone's made the pit stop. He's got his soft tyres left, so he's going to be really quick if he can make these mediums last a bit better than Eroticos managed. Owen has come out of this in P6. Pyro 7th, ahead of Perry. There we got Peachy in 9th, Woozy 10th, Spin, and Astroff. Astroff only 12 seconds back, so maybe if he didn't get all those penalties, he would be in a better position. So I think it's worth sticking on board with BX. He's on the soft tyres, and he should probably catch up to Javi, and then his tyres might die, and then fall back from Javi again. That's what I predict is going to happen. Did I say that? Oh well. So he is closing in on Javi. You can see the time just going down. That's just the difference in tyres and how they help with the traction on the straights. That's how the physics work. Now he should be able to take a huge chunk out of Javi as long as he takes this corner properly. This bus stop chicane here. A little bit slow on the acceleration. That does allow Javi to eke out a 10th on BX coming out of that final corner. All the way down into first for the source. And yeah, Javi getting a better exit as well. So Javi just much more comfortable in these cars than BX is. That's for sure. Because once again, he's on a slower compound, but still at least the same speed as BX Royal. CMP doing fairly well. He's actually set the fastest lap, a 2-minute flat. That is an insanely quick lap. Maybe that's going to be the fastest lap of the race, so great job there for CMP. He's now 5.7 behind Javi, so he's lapping even quicker than Javi, and way quicker than BX at the moment. Eroticos in P4, so he's lost P3 to CMP. He's on the softs, he's going to try and put in a good little stint, and he's going to definitely extend on Capel. Then we got Owen down in P6. He's on the mediums as well. Pyro's on the mediums too, so these guys are going to go quite a long time. Perry on the hards is just trying to stick with Pyro at the moment, so the race isn't going how it should for Perry. Behind Pyro is not probably what he expected. Mediums for Peachy, so he's going to stick with Perry quite well. Mediums for Woozy, he's got a lot of work to do. Hards for Spin, so he should drive away from Spin at least for Woozy. And then Astro is actually closed in 2 seconds on Spin in the last lap. A 1.5 is a great bit of pace there for Astro. That's still a little bit slower than Javi's fastest on hards, mind, but never mind. Javi extending his lead to 1.9 now. BX's tyres will be falling off. He's going to have to pit potentially at the end of next lap, because the final lap on those softs is going to be painful. Well, this is where the position that CMP's in actually. So he's going to do one final lap on these softs, but this is his 4th lap, and I would say he's cutting a fine line with getting to the end without a puncture, I've got to say. Eroticos is closing in on him, so Eroticos doing a 20.3, amazing lap for Eroticos as well. Some insane times being set. 59.8 by Javi on mediums. Yeah, I know I've been talking about how insane Javi is. I don't even know if it's worth repeating at this point. He's going to get the fastest lap. He's going to get like a 57 or something, isn't he? Formula 1 times. Maybe Formula 2 times. Gulf and Yoko are fighting for the last spot in the finals right now. Why would that be? Is it not 2 from each lobby? Or is it who has the most points out of all 8 drivers when you put them together, regardless of the lobby? I don't know. Right. Everyone's nice and gapped at the moment, so yeah, there's absolutely... Oh, Astro's made a mistake. He's dropped 16 back now. It's top 2 but the best 3rd place team. Okay. That does mean that there is something to play for, because I think it's pretty likely that the 5th team would come from this lobby if all 12 are competing. It depends though, because one of the teams got 1st and 5th but then didn't have a final driver, so if they repeat that, that's pretty decent. I don't know. I'm not going to do the math right now. Into the pits comes BX Royal, and it looks like CMP is also coming in. So BX deciding not to risk it he actually has better tyres than what CMP had when he started his final lap, but CMP was struggling a little bit. Erotica's up into 2nd, Capel is probably going to go into 3rd as well. So interesting strategies at the moment. Those two, BX and CMP, will have to do a harder compound for the remaining 8 laps. Yeah, there's not going to be any rain, man. We're just going to have a nice little Sunday drive. Actually, that's not true, because these guys are going to run out of tyres at some point, some of them. Let's see who's still on the softs. So those two are in the pits, so no one's on the softs apart from Eroticos. So Eroticos is our driver in danger of a puncture, so let's stick with him. He's 10 seconds off Javi after 12 laps. That's pretty impressive. Just remind you, he's a tier 3 driver now. Just remind him of that as well. 8 seconds ahead of Capel, but Capel has the softs left. Erotico's going to get a huge undercut on him though. So this is looking really good for Eroticos for getting a great result for Gulf, giving them the best chance possible of qualifying, but Perry and Woozy are nowhere, so it might not be enough. It might still actually be Yokohama who go through, because Owen and Pyro are currently P5 and 6, 4 and 5. They'll probably drop down to like maybe 6th and 7th or 7th and 8th, and that is pretty solid. And their teammate Woozy is in 9th now, CMP down in 11th. That's how much a pit stop penalises you. BX Royal is in 8th position, CMP is 11th, and he's behind Spin, who we've seen have problems in the race. So it might be worth sticking with CMP. See if he gets held up by his teammate. I'm guessing not. You're going to see team orders come into play pretty soon. Yeah, Yokohama doing well, but they still have to make the pit stop, so we have to wait and see. You need to put the 2 Alpine stars ahead of them. Erotico's in the pits now as well. So staying out that 1 lap later may have helped him in his battle with CMP. CMP just not closing up that quickly on Spin, actually. It's been doing pretty well at the moment. Yeah, he's found some pace on these hard tyres. He's been on them for a lot longer than CMP, so maybe CMP is still adjusting. Eroticos looks like he's leaving the pits now, and CMP is just coming through La Source and heading down to Eau Rouge, so we'll have to see who comes out ahead. Can be right on board with Eroticos. He's coming through. There's going to be Spin in contention here as well. There goes Spin. Now Eroticos is going to be battling with CMP, who kind of goes across the pit line. Maybe he shouldn't have done that, but he still gets past Eroticos. No major dramas there. Eroticos has no pace coming out the pits, so the overtake was pretty easy, and CMP has the advantage in this drag race to the finish, but Eroticos does have better tyre life for the rest of the race as well. So we are still, well, we've got 20-second lead for Javi at the moment. He's going to stay out for another few laps before he puts on the softs to the end. Let's see if anyone is pretty low on tyre life. Not at the moment. All the medium tired runners looks like they're doing a very similar strategy. Apart from Astro, he's really struggling now on the mediums, but he's last anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. So I think we're not going to see any more pit stops for another couple of laps, and then the last mad dash to the finish. Some people may be trying 4 laps on the softs and some trying 3. Javi's last lap time, it says a 1:09.5. Don't know where that's come from. So just a reminder, by the way, Pennzoil P1 and P2 and Peachy and P6, they do have to make the final stop, but this is looking like they might be the winners of the semi-final, but we have to see what happens with BX and CMP. I have a feeling CMP may have rear-ended Spin, considering he's got front bumper damage and Spin went flying. So potential penalty there coming for Spin, and that's allowed Eroticos to catch up nicely. He's still got damage, so Eroticos really needs to take advantage of this as quickly as possible and get the overtake done on CMP, because we don't know if that'll end up being reported, but that was pretty bad. Oh, Eroticos could have a go, but he backs out of it into Eau Rouge. Didn't want to go side by side. Gonna hold it really nicely through Radion, and he's now got a run on CMP. And this is looking a little bit hairy now. These guys are fighting for a place on the podium, even though this is actually for P9. And CMP holds him off. That's some good defending there from CMP after potentially whatever we saw previously. Uzi up in P8. Let's try and find some other bad battles. Peachy dropping off the back of Perry a little bit. Perry on the hards. He's going to stay out and start feeling the benefit, potentially going to catch up with Pyro a little bit on the next lap or so. Then a huge gap to Owen. Owen looking really comfortable here. Capel and yeah, Javi going on for another lap. So yeah, I think we're right. I don't think he's going to risk 5. I think he's going to try and do a lap on pretty dead mediums, but they're not looking too hot themselves. But he's got quite a big lead at the moment. His lead over BX is 42 seconds. So I'm not sure how long the pit loss is. I have a feeling it is longer than 42 seconds. He's got 51 on CMP, but he's going to be on the softs. So if he comes out behind CMP, he'll be able to overtake him pretty easily. Eroticos might come into the picture as well. Damn, that was some big drama for Spin. I'm going to be commentating on his tier next season, so looking forward to see what his pace is like, because he's pretty quick, but apparently he does actually spin a lot, ironically. So let's see what the lap times are. 20.8 for Javi, a 20.7 for Capel. That's his quickest lap and quicker than what Javi did. 20.8 for Owen, so very similar again. 1.6 for Pyro, so he's 8/10 slower than those guys. A 1.3 for Perry, lapping alright, and then in the 2s for Peachy, and a 0.6 for BX on hard tyres, so he's doing pretty well on those hards as well. Excuse me. So yeah, everyone, lapping in the 2s for Eroticos. He's dropped a second and a half back on CMP, potentially at a penalty. Spin lapping in the 3s after that 6 with his spin in the previous lap. Astro coming in, I'm assuming this will be for soft tyres to the end, but yeah, a long way back. He's going to be lapped, I reckon. Maybe actually he'll be safe because Javi coming into pit. So Astro actually going to try and do 5 laps on softs. Look at the weather, by the way. There's a pretty dark cloud in the sky. I don't know if that means, oh, he's going on for one more. I don't know what that means, because clouds don't not necessarily always mean rain, but let's hope that we get 4 laps in the wet and see what these guys do. If the rain starts before the end of the next lap, Javi can just put on inters instead of having to do his final soft tyre. And he's going on again, like we expected for Capel. Owen, his tyres are pretty dead, but he's going to try and do one more. This is going to be a mistake for Owen, I can feel it now. Pyro's tyres are a little bit better. And he's carrying on as well. And then Perry, obviously with his better hard tyres, everyone is doing the same strategy here. Peachy's going to have to come in. BX is, don't know, 1.8 there. So that's not as quick as his previous lap, but still catching Peachy nonetheless. Woozy is going to have to pit as well. CMP and Eroticos have tried some form of undercut. It's working a little bit better for CMP than it is for Eroticos. Then Spin is going to have to pit again, and Astro's not, but he's 52 seconds off the pace, and yeah, really struggling even on these soft tyres. Looks like he's struggling for traction. So the gap for Javi is 22 seconds, and on BX Royal it's actually 43. So he is, yeah, pretty much the same pace at the moment. Let's ride on board with Owen. Let's have a tyre check. I think all 4 of his tyres are actually at risk of puncturing this lap. He's off track. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. He's left it too late, and this could be another issue that is going to cost Yokohama points and potentially a spot in the final. We saw issues that cost Pyro a lot of positions, and then Owen right at the end of the previous race, it was tyre issues as well. He's got tyre issues again. They are completely dead. Owen, I think, needs to spend some time learning how to deal with tyre wear under the new settings, because what he's doing at the moment is not working. Javi in the pits already. Capel will be following him soon. Owen's actually done pretty well on this in-lap. Let's see if he can make it into the pits. Oh, that's not quick, but he is going to make it. Pyro's following him in. Oh, Perry's following him in. Peachy and BX are actually battling. Well, that's quite clever from Peachy because he's helping out his teammate there a little bit. So let's follow BX and see what happens to him when everything finally shakes out. So, Javi is already out. Whoa. Okay, something's happened. Javi has a huge lead over BX Royal, and he's got the soft tyres left. So, I thought the gap would be smaller. I did, but never mind. We saw Javi had the pace on BX all race long. I thought there would be a bit of a closer gap, but Javi has absolutely nailed it, essentially. CMP in 3rd, Erotico's still in 4th, but these two are going to be hunted down by Capel, who's done an absolutely fantastic strategy. Him and Javi have a great strategy, and they managed to pull it off really well. Capel could potentially get a podium here. He's only got 2 drivers on track to pass. They are on quite worn hard tyres as well, because they pit quite a long time ago. This is potentially championship defining moment for Pennzoil if they can get 2 cars on this podium and unseat Alpine Stars in that category. I don't think it's raining, there's no moisture, it looks like the dark clouds are pretty much cleared up. So Capel is closing the gap. Let's see what Peachy's up to. Peachy's on the softs, behind Perry on the softs, behind Pyro, who's also on the softs. Owen's pretty much on his own. So yeah, everyone is on softs apart from Eroticos, who got a penalty, and CMP, who has BX Royal just ahead of him as well. So BX really struggling. He's clearly made a mistake at some point in this lap. And now, I don't know what's about to happen here. Is CMP going to pass BX Royal for position? Has BX underfueled or something? No, they've got the same amount of fuel. BX Royal's lap here is going to be a 2:09, so a big mistake at somewhere for BX. And this actually means Capel could potentially get up into P2 if he can get Eroticos. He needs to get him pretty quickly. Eroticos wide into turn 1. Capel follows him around. Eroticos, well, Capel needs to get past Eroticos at the end of the Kerbal Straight, that's for sure. And start chasing down these Alpine Stars, because this is a fantastic opportunity for Capel to take advantage of these tyres while they're still fresh. Looks like there's going to be a change of position up front as well. CMP got past BX Roy, you could just see. Oh, what's he doing? What's he doing? Oh, I thought he was going to punt Eroticos off there, but manages to back out of it just in time. But this is a disaster. He needed to get past at that corner. And he's thinking every single corner about having a little dive down, but Erotico's defending very well. If Pennzoil get 2 points better than Alpine Stars, they start ahead of them in the final race. Okay. Capel's alongside now, so crucial overtake there. Erotico's turned into Capel, it looked like it went off track a little bit. Capel gets the position, and now he's 2.7 behind BX. So far so good. Capel's still got plenty of life left with 2 laps to go. So got over 50% left. He's got over 60% left, I'd say. So he's had a pretty decent 2 laps. Maybe could save those tyres when he was stuck behind Eroticos as well. Now you can see the Alpine Stars on completely different strategies, on much older and slower tyres. Capel is quite good at tyre saving. A 2-minute 1 flat, pretty decent time considering he had to get past Eroticos there. He's now 4 seconds ahead of Eroticos as well. Eroticos only 2.3 ahead of Owen as well, so he could fall back further. So he's definitely the first casualty of the hard tyre strategy. CMP gapped BX by 1.1, so yeah, BX with 2.6 will get caught by Capel on this pace. And then you got the slipstream, and then you got the tyre wear to factor in as well. Javi's just set a 58 flat, by the way. That's insane. BX Roll's fastest lap was 2 seconds slower. I guess that's the difference though. Javi competes in esports, so he's probably raced Group 1s around Spa, and BX competes in ALR races. So I don't know. I guess different. Well, it's a different category, so it's different. It's a completely different level of pace to contend with, and a lot more sweating has to be done to master that individual category as well. I think it's safe to say most ALR drivers have mastered Group 3, and put them in a Group 1, wouldn't know what to do. Capel has caught up to the back of BX now. Let's see how Capel tackles these next few corners. Half a second is the gap. He's still 4/10 up on his previous best time, so he's about to do a 2-minute flat as well, which is BX's best time when he was on soft tyres. So it's looking pretty good for Capel. His tyres they will have enough life in them at the end of the race, which is something we'll have to check with other drivers. Oh, he makes the corner really well, and if he can get a good exit, it looks like BX got a great exit compared to Capel. That means that BX has a tiny bit of breathing space as we enter the final lap. It's Alpine Stars versus Pennzoil 1, 2, 3, 4, just like in qualifying. It's the same ones. They've all been on a bit of a trip. CMP could have done a lot better, but got shuffled down the order with a bad first lap. Capel and Javi trying a very different strategy to CMP and BX, but it's brought them pretty close together at the end. BX looks like he took over Radion better than Capel, but Capel's got the slipstream now. So let's see what he can do. BX going defensive. Capel's going to dive it in the inside. He's got the tyres for it. He's going to make a little bit of contact with BX. BX keeps it on track, and they make a little bit more contact. Looks like Capel got shoved off a bit. Argy-bargy. Definitely. I think that was a bit of payback for Capel bumped to BX, then BX bumped to Capel. So potential for a steward's inquiry, but I don't think anything would happen with that. Not that I'm stewarding this, but just my humble opinion. But yeah, Eroticos falling back. Owen in the background is catching Eroticos as well, but sticking with this little battle. Capel's tyres are pretty dead now, so that is a factor for him as well, but he still looks like he's got the pace on BX's. Trying to move around the outside, which is now becoming the inside. BX has left him a little bit of space. We need to ride on board. There's only a few corners left. Javi is going to comfortably win, which is crossing the checkered flag right now, so congrats to Javi, but we're sticking with this battle. CMP is going to have a very comfortable P2 in the end. He's going around the final corner. Capel looks like he just doesn't have it in him to catch BX. I think the crossover point between the tyres has finally been reached, and BX just enough to fend off Capel, unless there's a Hail Mary into the final corner. Doesn't look like there's going to be, so we got P2 for CMP, just ahead of BX in the end, who had terrible pace on these hard tyres. Capel P4, Erotico's actually going to keep hold of P5. He's out of fuel though, but still manages to beat Owen. Pyro rounding the final corner with completely dead tyres, going to take P7. So is it enough for Yokohama, a 6th and a 7th? Let's see. Eric's Peachy P8 for Pennzoil, 3 in the top 8. 1st, 4th and 8th, really solid result for them. Perry in 9th in the Gulf. Woozy in 10th in the Yokohama, so we'll have to wait and see. And then we have Spin in Alpine Stars, only managing P11 in the end, and Astro in P12 for Gulf. So I think it's safe to say Gulf's out, Pennzoil and Alpine Stars definitely through, and we have to wait and see with the points for Yokohama. But if they make it through, that's fantastic. Making it through by the skin of their teeth in both rounds. Whew, that was a long one. Longer than I expected when I agreed to do tonight. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Pester Pyro for the standings, because I don't know what happened in Lobby B. But yeah, final on Thursday, I think. Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.